The time is now 7 o'clock.
Are D-1, and this is not really a good countdown. We're a day away from the planned doctor strike. On top of this, medical professors from Seoul National University and the affiliated hospital said that they will hold an indefinite suspension of services beginning today. Many doctors' associations, including obstetrics and children's hospitals, announced that they will not join in on the strike. And so far, only a small percentage of private practitioners reported that they will close their doors. So, will today and tomorrow be a watershed moment in favor of the government's cause for the doctors? Most importantly, what will the patients do in the meantime? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, June 17th on befm, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and are ready to start our week together. Well, today and tomorrow are set to be major days in the doctors' protest against the medical school admissions quota expansion. So today, the medical school professors at Seoul National University affiliated hospitals said that they will indefinitely suspend their services. According to the University Professors Emergency Response Committee, 529 professors will cancel their outpatient appointments or reduce them and postpone operations or examinations. The Korea Medical Association, or KMA, also presented 3 conditions for the government, including starting the medical school quota expansions from scratch, going back to square one, and withdrawing all administrative orders for trainee doctors and medical students. The government said that the doctors cannot make policy demands on the preconditions of closing down medical practices. The government does maintain its position to take stern action, but it is also looking into ways to ease punitive action against trainee doctors to encourage them to come back to work. This stalemate, it's been going on for quite some time, and we've been, reporting on all the details. And the sides, they are seemingly kind of flip-flopping, and we have to wonder if any of the parties are putting the patients as their priority. For those of you who have had to postpone surgery or procedures, I can't even imagine if I had to deal with that. It is so disheartening. Anyhow, that is our main theme for today, and we're going to be discussing all the details throughout the next 2 hours. However, it is now time for our text topic. Vacation season is coming up, and already beaches are filling with people looking to cool down from the heat. So this is my question posed to you. Where is your favorite swimming spot? Whether it's at a particular beach, maybe you have a particular pool, or some natural spot that you really love going to. Let us know. Share all your favorite spots. By the way, are you a good swimmer? Which strokes have you mastered? Which strokes are you good at? 자, 이제 점점 휴가철이 다가오고 이미 해수욕장에는 많은 사람들이 몰리고 있는데요. 여러분의 최애 물놀이 장소는 어딘가요? 그리고 수영할 때 예를 들어서 배영, 자유형, 평영, 저병, 혹은 even 개헤엄까지 나는 수영 어디까지 할 수 있다. 자랑 타임입니다. And if you can't swim, that's okay as well. Share your stories with us. You can send in your messages to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Also, pound 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can reach me for free through Kakao Talk. You can listen to us in various ways. And I like this platform because you can listen to us and watch us, right? This is YouTube. We're streaming live right now as we speak. You can watch again on that same platform. You can also use the Patbang app. Looking ahead to our Monday morning together, we have Showbiz Buzz, that's with Michael, and then Bobby's coming back for Business perspectives. For our special interview, we are gonna talk about something that affects all of us. A very, very hot summer plus heavy rains. Is that the forecast for this coming summer? So we're going to find out whether we're going to have what's called a La Niña summer with our expert. That's coming up in hour number 2. And I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:05, and these are today's headlines. KMA offers walkout reconsideration if government accepts 3 demands. The Korean Medical Association, or KMA, offered 3 demands for the government, including revisiting medical school admissions. The health ministry, however, said that there are no changes to its previous position. UN focuses on critical minerals during Central Asia trip. President Yoon Suk-yeol wrapped up a week-long trip to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan on Saturday as South Korea seeks deeper engagement with a strategically significant region. Funding secured for first drilling of potential oil and gas deposits. The government has secured around 12 billion won to launch the first exploratory drilling for potential gas deposits in the EC, set to begin in December. Data leaked for over 2,000 South Korean customers' data in Tag Heuer hack. Private data of some 2,900 South Korean customers was leaked after Tag Heuer was hacked between 2019 and 2020. Ukraine peace summit without key powers signing joint statement. A 2-day peace summit in Switzerland on the war in Ukraine concluded, with key powers rejecting a joint communiqué agreed to by more than 80 other countries and international organizations. 14 dead at annual Mecca pilgrimage. Jordan's foreign ministry said that 14 of its citizens visiting Mecca, Saudi Arabia, for the annual Hajj pilgrimage have died from heat stroke, with 17 missing at the event. And these are today's headlines. It's now time to say hi to Haley and see how she's been doing. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I met up with some friends and we went to Kijang, which was happening.
Oh, yeah, it's
hot.
so different and so hot. By the way, we are talking about swimming skills, swimming spots. So first of all, do you have any go-to spots to enjoy swimming?
I'm not a huge fan of ocean swimming because of the stickiness factor. I really like 계곡, like the little mountainside rivers, the valleys we say. And I am an excellent swimmer.
Okay, so brag.
Because I couldn't get into a kindergarten when I was supposed to go. Because, those are like the lottery systems in Korea at least.
Yes.
So my parents put me in at the Y. Let's just say, right? And then it's famous for a swimming program.
Sure.
So, yeah. And then I got through everything. I was the Y's backstroke champion because I felt like I was just lying in water and splashing around.
Yes.
And then right when I was supposed to learn the butterfly, I got in to the local kindergarten. So I don't know how to do the butterfly.
That's the hardest, I think.
That's so hard.
It is. Yes. Well, thanks for sharing and bragging on this Monday morning. Okay, we're going to dive into our first update. So first, Bexco is in the process of trying to build a 3rd exhibition hall, but it's facing setbacks due to rising construction costs.
Right. So Busan City announced that the Interior Ministry, it did approve the 52% increase in the total construction fee for exhibition hall number 3. And that will take up the price tag from the previously set at 190.8 billion won to 290 billion won. So that's quite a bit of a price tag. But it was able to get the feasibility study that was supposed to happen waived because the two existing halls are currently at full capacity. And the city is in need of a prompt construction of the third hall for its MICE industry, which is ever expanding. So the basic plans, however, because of this particular price tag issue, had been put on hold since December of last year. And Busan City does plan on drawing up the basic plans by the end of this year and complete construction by the end of 2028. However, that will be a year after the finished date of the initial plans. So the plans for the exhibition hall number 3, those have been in place since 2019, which is the year when halls 1 and 2 reached maximum capacity.
I see. And so one of the kind of the landmarks of Busan, right? As we're a MICE city. So hopefully, yes, we can get that back on track. We'll see. Next, the Ecodelta city in Gangseogu district has been seeing poor soil quality, leading to the trees dying off, which is not good. So the city is taking steps to rectify this, right?
Especially given the name, the Ecodelta city. So Busan City and the Korea Water Resources Corporation, or K-Water, they're working together to improve soil quality in the Ecodelta city. So in April of this year, the two entities conducted a soil study where they found out that the overall nutrient level in the area's soil, they're actually seriously lacking. And also about 76% were in the highly alkaline level, which would hinder plant growth. So because of that, that led to a wide variety of trees and ferns and just plants in general basically dying off or growing extremely slowly. So it turns out that the soil that they used to create this new part of the city, that came from digging mountains or from construction sites, not fertile topsoil that is usually used for plant growth. So upon expert recommendation, K-Water is actually going to inject fertilizer to neutralize the soil's acidity and alkaline levels for an immediate solution, and also spread around soil from fertilizer, like solid form fertilizer, for longer term solutions, and also replanting with trees that have higher survival rates.
I see, but once again, kind of the whole point of kind of renovating and making that area very livable.
After this, so it's like, well, somebody should have used the expert consultations earlier,
beforehand.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yes, just saying. All right, moving on. With a decline in population, the student population in Busan is also on a downturn, except for one particular group.
Right, so we're always happy to see at least one spike in the population, and those would be multicultural students. They're on the rise, and with this, the city's Office of Education, they're planning on opening a multicultural dedicated school in about 3 years or so. So as of the end of last year, there were 7,394 multicultural students in Busan, and that number has been consistently on the rise for the past few years. And this is in stark contrast to the overall decline of just students in general or student age population.
Yes.
So when we say multicultural students, that encompasses both children of a mixed race from international marriages or foreign nationals, and both categories, by the way, they have been seeing an increase.
Sure.
And this also means that we have a large number of foreign nationals migrating to Busan. So there are currently 3 students in Busan City where the number of multicultural students actually accounts for about a third of the total population of their school.
Oh, really? Well, because many of these students, they lack Korean language skills, they do require special education, meaning like special attention, right?
Right. So it's KSL, Korea as a second language classes. So Korean language classes, they were only offered in elementary through high school levels, but now that has been offered throughout kindergarten, so to expanded.
Yes.
So these classes teach not only Korean language, but also culture as well for integration.
Sure.
And there are 22 schools that run these classes right now, and also the education office dispatches teachers to the schools that don't have these official classes. So the office also recently launched a task force for a multicultural school to open in 2027, and that'll focus on teaching Korean language and also cultural integration.
Definitely needed, so I'm glad they're doing this. All right, lastly, a bit of a strange story, but apparently we've been seeing blackouts because of birds.
And how very Alfred Hitchcock.
Right.
So the Korea Electric and Power Corporation, or KEPCO's Busan and Ulsan headquarters, said last week in Yonsan, 492 households lost power, and also plus a nearby middle school for almost 2 hours because of A crow.
A crow.
까마귀. It ran into the power wires. And Kepco says when crows, especially those with bigger wingspans, they fly around the wires and that can actually trip them. It comes into contact and that leads to wires actually breaking. And when these birds build nests in urban areas, because, well, there aren't that many trees or materials, they may build them on these utility poles or power poles and even take wires and metal as nest material. And they can just peck at them. Actually, it's not the first time this has happened. Back in March, also in Yeonje district, an attorney's office and a nearby hospital lost power due to similar reasons. Last October, and this was a bit scary, a radiation medical science industrial complex in Kijang had a blackout. Both cases because crows pecked at the wires.
Ooh.
So Kepco says that these bird-related incidents happened it happened 35 times last year. And actually, we haven't seen an increase in the crow population in the city or city areas. Not only that, and I know how much you love these, snakes. Can also, they climb trees and trees or poles and can trip wires. And over 400 power outages happened across 3 years in Gyeongnam, all due to animal-related reasons.
Interesting.
So not only just animals, but if you see even like plastic bags or anything that's suspicious, not supposed to be there around power wires, do alert Kepco because that can lead to blackouts.
Right, and that means alert. Don't try to fix or remedy the situation.
No.
Very dangerous. All right, well, thank you for the updates. We'll check back in with you real soon. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
All right, so for our text topic, we are talking about swimming because vacation season is pretty much here, almost here. And I know a lot of you are heading out to the beaches and whatnot. So tell us about your favorite swimming spot. Where do you like to go take a dip? Also, are you a good swimmer? And if you are, time to brag. Tell us about your swimming skills. How many laps? What kind of strokes you're good at? Let us know. And here is your traffic and weather. It is now 7:16 and this is your traffic report. It is backed up on the Dongso overpass from Bumnikor ramp to the old Gaegeum tollgate right now. It's looking slow on Luno Samsungdaedo from Myeongji underpass to Shino Bridge. There's also congestion on Mandukdaedo from Manduk intersection to the entrance of the expressway. As for the weather, it's currently 22 degrees under partially cloudy skies. However, around noontime, you can expect the sun to peek out. Daytime high will climb up to 30 degrees. Looking at the nation's weather, it will be clear throughout the country with daytime highs going up to 33 degrees in some parts. Jeju may see rain from the afternoon. Heavy fog is forecast, especially for the coastal bridges on the western side of the country. So please be aware of this during your morning commute. And this was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It is now time for News Digest. So Haley's still in the studio with me. So first off, we're going to talk about the Fair Trade Commission, the FTC, which issued a massive fine against Coupang last week. And now the e-commerce giant is striking back with threats to get rid of its rocket delivery services. So let's talk about this.
Yes. So the FTC last week announced that Coupang apparently artificially put over 64,000 of its PB or the private brand or private direct brand products at the top of its search results, and also allegedly utilized thousands of its employees, to write positive reviews. So the FTC said that the ranking was supposed to include objective indicators like a customer preference and sales figures. However, Coupang prioritized its own profits and put its own products in the first to third place of any given search. So the FTC ruled that this apparently infringed upon the customer's rights to make reasonable choices and imposed 140 billion won fine, and also adding that it'll pass the case on to the prosecution.
I see. And how has Coupang responded to all this?
Actually, very strongly. In a statement, Coupang said that if the FTC bans Coupang from recommending its rocket delivery products, most of its PB products are rocket delivery, then such rocket delivery would be impossible, that it may have to pull the services altogether.
Sure.
Also, it presented evidence that the reviews that were allegedly written by its own employees had actually a lower average ranking than the general public's, 4.79 out of 5, whereas the average customer, the regular customer reviews were 4.82, saying that this is evidence against the FTC's arguments that it used its employees to boost the ratings.
I see.
It also explained that it invested trillions of won to directly purchase the products for rocket delivery and also guarantee free returns for its members, which is what attracted the customers to this service in the first place, and that the company has to take on the financial burden for keeping all of its items in stock.
Yes.
By the way, for reference, FTC says that 70% of Coupang's products are its own private brand or directly purchased, and they have that in stock throughout different warehouses across the country. Thus, they can do the rocket delivery, the same day or next day delivery. But so if it cannot freely recommend this service, Coupang says that it won't be able to maintain the rocket delivery, and adding that the ultimate burden will then fall on the customers.
Well, this actually affected Busan pretty much immediately, correct?
Because on the same day, Coupang warned that the 3 trillion won logistics investment and the 22 trillion won investment for rocket delivery products may stop if it has to pay for fines and whatnot. And actually on the same day, it canceled the groundbreaking ceremony for the Busan Cutting Edge Warehouse and Logistics Center that was scheduled to take place on the 20th of this month, and notified Busan City of it.
Yes. So I guess Coupang's logic is that its rocket delivery and its own brand exposure benefits the consumers. That's like the argument. So how have the consumers responded to Coupang's, I guess, actions?
It depends on how heavily they were dependent on the rocket delivery system. So it is divided. People who do depend on the same day or next day delivery, they do express concerns of, well, what if it stops? What if I have to get, my products immediately? However, others say that the company seems to be basically blackmailing consumers, saying that, hey, if we can't do this, you're going to be hurt in the long run, or openly making fools out of the public by kind of allegedly doctoring these search results.
I see.
Saying that it'll damage the company, not the consumers, because consumers have other options.
Yes. So that is kind of the lowdown on this Coupang story. Next up, I hear you have some statistics on elder abuse.
Heavy story, but we do have to cover this because last Friday was the National Elder Abuse Prevention Day, and on this day, the Ministry of Health released its annual report on the topic. So unfortunately, the number of abuse cases against senior citizens, that's been on the rise, exceeding 7,000 last year.
Right.
So last year, over 21,000 reports came in alleging elder abuse, and 32%, or 7,025, they're confirmed to actually have been abused. So 42% was physical abuse, another 42% emotional abuse, with single-digit figures in negligent, economic abuse, and even sexual assault.
Yes.
And the thing is, similar to child abuse, a lot of the perpetrators were family members. So 86.5% of the abuse were perpetrated in the home, 9.7% from care facilities like senior homes, and unfortunately, abuse at the home went up by 3.6%.
Yes.
The most common perpetrator, spouses, at 35.8%, with the vast majority, 87% of that being husbands, and 26% was sons. So there was an interesting big divide between sons and daughters.
Right.
So there was a very unfortunate gender aspect to elder abuse. So also, which was interesting, until 2021, sons were the most common abusers, but that switched to husbands in 2021.
I see.
So the health ministry stated that there has been a significant decline declined in repeated abuses because the authorities had strengthened monitoring over abuse cases and following up, utilizing artificial intelligence and information technology. And the ministry will also increase promotions for this app, 나비 책임, which is a reporting app for elder abuse.
Well, unfortunately, the fact that we have to have this app, but also on the other hand, I'm glad that we have it.
Right.
So that we can, of course,
We
report
also
on that.
are seeing an increased number of senior citizens, so this aspect of care will become more and more important.
All right. Next, environmental authorities say that the number of high ozone days is on the rise this summer. So let's talk about ozone levels.
What they are, how that affects us. So Seoul's Institute of Health and Environment said that the first ozone alert for the capital city was issued on April 19th of this year, and that is the earliest ever. And since then, there had been 45 ozone alert days between the 19th of April and June 12th, also the highest figure yet. And also in Busan City, we have been seeing high ozone alert levels in parts of the city. For us, though, because ozone levels usually are not high in the morning, we don't really tell you about it because we don't have the alerts. They do come in the afternoon and they're usually lifted by late night, so do keep your eyes on that.
Okay.
But ozone, so what is this? Go back to high school chemistry. That is O3, so 3 oxygen molecules, atoms rather, as opposed to O2, which is oxygen, what we need to breathe. However, ozone can be good or bad, the O3, depending on where it is. So remember like the 80s and 90s, there was a big hole in the ozone layer and how that was letting in a lot of harmful UV rays. So when the ozone is way above our head, it's good. It's basically a protective layer that shields the sun's harmful UV rays. So thus the hole was an issue. By the way, that has kind of patched itself. It's gotten considerably smaller. But once the ozone, the O3, is on the ground level and affects us and we breathe that in, which is when it becomes bad.
Right.
Because O3, ground level ozone, is created by chemical reactions between oxides of nitrogen and volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. And that basically is pollutants emitted by cars, power plants, industrial boilers, refinery, so on and so forth, and they chemically react with sunlight. That's why on sunny days, summer, we do get higher ozone levels. And actually, according to the National Environment and Science Institute, average O3 ozone concentration has gone up by an average of 3 times between the 80s and the 2020s.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah.
It's going to, I guess, go up even further. But how does this affect our health? I think a lot of people are wondering.
Right. So primarily your respiratory system. When you breathe it in, that can affect people, especially people who have asthma, young children, older adults, and people who do a lot of activities outdoors, especially outdoor workers. And children are at greater risk because their lungs are still developing. So if you do see a high ozone alert or warning, children, elderly, and others who have respiratory issues are recommended to not go outside.
Indeed. Well, thanks for giving us a lowdown on that, plus all the top news stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
And with that, we are ready for our first song for this morning. Here is Monday Morning 519 by Rialto.
At 8 o'clock we said goodbye. That's when I left her house for mine. She said that she'd be staying in. Well, she had to be at work by 9. So I'll get home and have a bath. An hour or 2 pass. Drifting in front of my TV. When a film comes on that she wants to see, it's Monday morning 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get a machine. And now it's almost 6 a.m. his fingers through her hair. Oh, you shouldn't let him touch you there. It's Monday morning, 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get her machine. And now it's almost 6 a.m. and I don't want to try again. 'Cause if she's still not back, well, heaven knows what then. Is this the end? Monday morning, 5:19, and I'm still wondering where she's been. 'Cause every time I try to call, I just get her machine. And now it's almost 6 a.m. and I don't want to try again. 'Cause if she's still not back, well, heaven knows. What then? Is this the end?
Welcome back, everybody. It's now 7:31 on this Monday morning. And overall, we're talking about the planned doctors' strike. It's set to take place tomorrow. However, despite the KMA's warning that this will be extensive, it seems only 4% of private practices or neighborhood clinics have reported that they'll be going on strike to the authorities that basically they're going to close their doors tomorrow. This follows announcements from the Korea Children's Hospitals Association, the Korean Obstetrics Hospital Association, and the Association of Epilepsy Support Hospitals, among others. So these associations say that they cannot leave or neglect their respective patients who are in need of constant or urgent care. Actually, some of these representatives are calling on the doctors to not shift the sacrifice onto the patients as they've basically been doing, their thoughts, not mine, but to bring that upon themselves, including maybe, I don't know, individual acts of, I guess, civil disobedience, fasting, head shaving to fight for their cause. But anyhow, the big conundrum is this, of course, the patients. Just people around me, they have been turned away from emergency rooms. I had an acquaintance who actually she runs a small restaurant. She cut her finger pretty severely. It was bleeding. She couldn't stop the bleeding, so she went to the local, emergency room, and they had to turn her away because there just weren't doctors. So that is the state of things right now. Well, something a little lighter for a text topic. It is vacation season, and people here in Korea especially tend to go on vacation during like a certain 2 weeks coming up real soon. Beaches are definitely filling up with lots of people looking to cool down from the heat. So where is your favorite swimming spot? Maybe it's like, a really nice local creek. Maybe you like going swimming in a private pool, maybe at the beach. And by the way, are you a good swimmer? Which strokes can you do? 자, 이제 점점 휴가철이 다가오는데요. 여러분의 최애 물놀이 장소는 어딘가요? 또 이 여러 개 중에서 배형, 자유형, 평형, 저병 버터플라이 너무 힘든 것 같아요. 개형까지 나는 여기까지 할 수 있다. 저는 개인적으로 I can do everything. 그거 저병은 배우긴 배운데 I learned the butterfly. But I wouldn't say I'm very good at it. I look very awkward because you got to do like the dolphin kick and then, put both your shoulders and get high above the water. So after like 3 strokes, I look really stupid. So I don't do that stroke. I also like to do the side stroke. 옆으로 하는 거 있죠. So it's like a combination of like breaststroke and the and the frog, the like breaststroke, free stroke, and like the dog paddle all at once. 옆으로 하는 거 있어요. It's called a side stroke. So my producer's like, what are you talking about? Like, you swim to the side. I think it's very common, is it not? Anyhow, those are my skills. I can pretty much swim anywhere and everywhere. However, I was caught in a rip current once. Oh, that was so scary in the ocean. After that, I haven't really gone back. That's kind of like a traumatic experience. Looking at some of your messages, let's see. I see. 토리님 수영 안 한 지 7, 8년이 된 것 같아요. 세상에 제일 귀찮은 운동 같아요. 수영. 운동일 수도 있고 it could be a form of exercise because they say like, they haven't swam in like 7 to 8 years. It's also kind of like a leisure thing, especially if you have your own private pool. I know it's not like a thing in Korea. Most people live in apartments, but if you have like your own pool, I think it's kind of it can be a leisure activity. Also, Leslie says, I love to swim. Typically, I swim at a local rec center. My best strokes are freestyle, Leslie, side stroke. And backstroke. I'm okay in breaststroke. I cannot do butterfly. Yeah, butterfly is like my Achilles. But do we really need the butterfly unless you're like a competitive swimmer? That's just a question I have. Let's read one more for now. 고수 웨이버 저는 해수욕장을 좋아하지만 수영은 그냥 물 장구만 좋아해요. 수영을 배워볼 기회가 없어서 깊이 들어가서 놓지는 못해요. 두 발이 땅에 꼭 붙어 있어야 합니다. So he says he does enjoy being in the water. However, he never formally learned swimming, so he doesn't feel comfortable, like that feeling of like, if my feet can touch the ground or the sand, you feel safe. And then otherwise you feel kind of nervous. I guess that's his level or the comfort level he is at right now. All right. I'll be back with our hot clip for Monday. For today's hot clip, I'm going to talk about something called Trooping the Color, or at least the clip will cover that. But I have to say, this is King Charles's annual birthday parade. And the thing is, he was diagnosed with cancer, but so was Princess Catherine. So here is an update from CBS News.
To Britain now, where Catherine, the Princess of Wales, made her first public appearance since her cancer diagnosis nearly 6 months ago. It was also the first time her 3 children had been seen publicly since Christmas. The youngest, 6-year-old Prince Louis, once again showed us he's the fun one.
Majesty, music, and military precision led the celebrations of King Charles's official birthday. More than 1,000 troops marched in London to honor their sovereign. Trooping the Color is all about the king, but this year, royal watchers kept an eye out for a princess. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, rode in a carriage with her 3 children. It was her first public appearance since Christmas Day and announcing her battle with an undisclosed form of cancer in March. Yesterday, Kate released a new picture and statement saying she's making good progress going through chemotherapy and that her treatment will last a few more months. But her appearance shouldn't be viewed as a return to duties, says Sunday Times royal editor Roy Anika.
When we found out she had cancer in March and we got that announcement from Kate, Kensington Palace were very clear that she might decide to take part in some engagements here and there, but that should not be seen as a return to work.
The ceremony showcased the bond between monarch and military. But not all went as hoped. Well, the weather seems to be raining on the King's parade, but the show still must go on. But in typical British fashion, 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it is raining horizontally. But it didn't stop the king, who's also fighting cancer. His was discovered during surgery on his prostate earlier this year. He traded his horse for a carriage during the parade. And later, the whole family joined him on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, waving to a crowd of thousands, capped off with a flyby from the Royal Air Force. While this was a day of celebration, the country wanted to know how their king and princess were doing. Kate appeared poised, especially while wrangling her 3 children, and the king looked strong, standing there, taking salutes and returning them during the ceremony.
So as you heard in that clip, it's basically a celebration of the king's birthday. King Charles's birthday is actually on November 14th. That's his actual birth. However, Drooping the Color is steeped in tradition, and it's kind of a parade to honor the king's birthday, and it happened to be this past weekend. So lots of pomp and circumstance regardless of the rain, and it was really great to see both the king and Princess Catherine in seemingly okay health, and this was your hot clip for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
No, you didn't. This is, what is this? Showbiz Buzz? I was going to say Morning Buzz. Showbiz
Morning
Buzz.
Buzz.
And we have Michael, our famed musical director, in the studio.
Yeah, it's just PD님 was accusing me of getting darker every day. It's like,
What's wrong with being darker? I want to
didn't
get
do
darker.
anything.
I want to see the sun.
you know, I was super busy last
Yes.
week, so I had to stay indoors the entire time. Which means no sunlight at all.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, I'm just getting darker and darker.
Yeah, like, I guess, just
And people think I went to like the beach
the
every
beach.
day.
You're like, no, I was indoors. Hey, speaking of the beach, today
Yeah.
we're talking about favorite swimming spots. By the
Okay.
way, do you swim?
Yeah.
Not like in the 목욕탕, like real swimming? No, because like some
I don't think
people,
you're allowed to swim in
You're not
mogukthangs.
supposed to.
No,
You're not supposed to, but yes.
But I do it
Like,
secretly.
how good are you?
I think I'm pretty good because I used to take swimming lessons
Oh.
back then. I think I just got into learning the butterfly.
Everybody's like nemesis, I think, is the butterfly.
I don't know
That's
why
like-
they do it.
That is the last step. Like I
I mean,
said,
it's my personal opinion, but I don't
Yeah.
know why they do it.
my
Unless
personal
you're-
opinion,
yeah.
unless you're a professional or like competitive swimmer,
I completely agree with
why do you need it? 'Cause,
Exactly.
Like, I see people doing it and like, I don't know. So for guys, I'm like,
I swim
oh, he's showing off.
I learned
right?
how to swim for survival.
Yes.
Right? So like and butterfly that's the right word, right?
Yes, butterfly, right.
stroke. It just takes away like too much of your energy.
It does.
For every stroke.
It zaps.
It's like 1, 2, and you're dead.
That's exactly. I said after like 2 or 3 times, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm going back to my,
I don't know.
And then PD Nemo's looking at me weird because I mentioned the side stroke.
Yeah.
Have you tried the side stroke?
Side stroke.
Yeah, just like swimming
Yeah.
to your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It's a thing. It is a thing.
It's not that bad. I mean,
Right.
butterfly, it's the worst.
Side stroke is easy.
Side stroke is easy.
Yes.
Yeah, and the frog and the everything. Yeah. It's easy.
All right. Let's dive into our Showbiz Buzz. What do you have for us?
Yeah, we got a couple of issues today. First off, though, I think SM, and we all know EXO. It's one of the popular K-pop groups in
Yes.
Korea. And 3 members of EXO, that's Chen, Baekhyun, and Xiumin.
Oh,
So that's Chen Baekshi in short.
yes.
Yeah, we call them Chen Baekshi. And said that they said last week that they will file a lawsuit against SM. So
Oh,
that's
really?
SM Entertainment for a settlement of accounts. And this is not the first time. Yeah, they've already gone through this whole fiasco last year, and they are coming back to do another one again. And the reason why is, it's literally based on the settlement of accounts, and so basically some people didn't get their money. in time.
So that's what they're claiming. Like, I didn't get paid.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what happened last year, and similar thing is happening this year as well. And so last year they agreed to end the dispute on the condition that the 3 members of EXO, they set up their own little individual entertainment company
Okay.
for their solo activities.
Sure.
And they've been paying 10% of commission to SM because some of the songs that were made for EXO is currently owned by SM, right? But the agreement was, yeah, we will pay you the commission rate of 10%. But in return, what we need is you need to reduce the commission rate for all of the songs and albums released through Kakao Music. So it's a little bit complicated. Basically, so they had a deal of some kind, right? But the thing is, they've been paying the 10% to SM.
Okay.
But SM basically failed to
live up to their end of the
to
bargain.
their promises of
Allegedly.
lowering the commission rate for Kakao Music.
I see.
So that's where the problem got worse again. So now the three members are coming back to say, you know what, you didn't live up to your agreements.
Yes.
So we are breaking that agreement and we're going back to doing the lawsuit again. So
I see.
yeah, it's a big issue and it's just getting started. So we'll see how this unfolds. But now it's the beginning of everything. It's a new whole fiasco from my point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got kind of excited. I was like, we were like hoping you would know Ududung.
I would, I think it's too. I don't know. I mean,
We didn't give you a practice time, so it's okay.
no. I mean, I would sing, but like they are going through a serious trouble.
That's true.
And
The story
singing
itself.
would be it's
Inappropriate. All right.
Inappropriate. Maybe next week though.
Let's talk about our next story. What's this one about?
This one is about the environment, and I think this was an interesting issue for me personally because their Ministry of Environment is now talking about the plastic use of making K-pop albums, and they're saying that this is posing a environmental threat.
Sure.
So that's an interesting, I think, perspective because we've never talked about this before.
Yes.
And we've had, hard copy albums for more than, I don't know, how many years, So in Korea only, more than 100 million hard copy albums are sold, every year.
Sure.
But there are no regulations to rein in the practices of, the entertainment agencies doing aggressive marketing. So what this means is they are asking the fans, the K-pop fans, to buy more than one album each.
I smile because,
중복구매.
one of my family members, they're into one particular group, and it's kind of like random. Like the marketing ploy is like it's random, so they order until they get like the jacket, like album cover that they prefer.
Yes, that's the
Right.
well, that's one of the
Ploy,
marketing
yes.
strategies, and they would include those photo cards.
Yeah.
And they would it's random. It's random.
Yes, it's
so
usually random.
Yeah, you have to buy the albums
Until
you get the one
that you
need.
want, right?
Exactly. So like 중복구매. So like asking the fans
To buy multiple
albums
Sure.
is basically posing a threat to the environment, basically, because basically they're buying more plastic.
Right, and then you wonder, well, it's if only like the jacket, the sleeve cover is different with the photo cards. Like, are they actually listening to like all three CDs?
Exactly.
I mean, who listens
they
to
have
CDs, right?
And these CDs probably have the same songs included.
Exactly.
So nothing's changed with the CD. It's just the photo cards, and they're
Yes.
just buying the albums for the photo cards. Probably they will throw away the album, and that happens a lot. So, in 2022, so that's 2 years ago.
Sure.
There is a statistics that says 15 major K-pop production companies, including HYBE, SM, and JYP, imported some 390 tons of plastic packages for album making. So that's a lot of plastic
Wow.
being used.
390
just for
tons.
one single ear. So think about the past decade. That's almost 4,000 tons.
Right. So I was thinking, it's not just the plastic. It has like that vinyl plastic, like see-through
Yeah, the
covering.
covers and everything.
then think about all the packaging that goes into, even if it's cardboard and some of it's recyclable, but still, right? When they send it to your
so
house.
there are increasing number of civil groups that are calling upon these companies to stop these marketing practices because they feel that this is the origin of all the problems.
The companies.
Exactly, and reveal and they're asking the companies to reveal the amount of greenhouse gas emissions and scrap albums to be more eco-friendly.
Yes, yes. That's a great idea, though. If you, reveal all, all the numbers and whatnot, maybe fans will be conscientious, still maybe get what they need,
Yeah.
but less waste, right? All right, let's move on to our next item.
Good news in Hollywood.
Okay.
Good news for Koreans. More and more Korean actors and actresses are gaining reputation in Hollywood thanks to OTT platforms.
Yes.
And OTT platforms are serving as an effective tool for promoting, Korean actors and actresses and in their acting career.
Sure.
So we are seeing more and more Korean actors and actresses taking major roles in major Hollywood series. And one of the example is Korean actor Lee Jung-jae. We all know him from the Squid Games. And he is joining the 47-year-old Star Wars universe with The Acolyte. That's the name of the new series.
Okay.
And it just got unveiled on June 5th. And he is taking the lead role there.
I mean, this is like really exciting, I think.
Yeah.
That, Korean actors, actresses are just like kind of, crossing borders and spreading the K-wave, right?
Yeah. So we all know, I think you remember Korean actress Soo-hyun. She's the first one to join the Marvel universe. And she is seeing the changes and she was amazed to see how things are just changing so fast. And there are just Korean wave blowing through the Hollywood, streets, and there are basically more casting directors and producers who basically want to cast more Korean actors and actresses. And I think that's a good sign for us. But I think there's a little bit of a setback, and that's Lee Jung-jae and other Korean actors like Song Kang-ho. Basically, their casting fees are rising because of this, right?
Yes.
So there are increasing number of Korean producers and production companies
Can't afford them.
They can't afford them,
Right,
basically.
right.
So that's one of the problems that we face now. But
Yes.
yeah, it's good and bad.
Double-edged sword. We'll
Double-edged
leave it at
sword,
that.
exactly.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Anything else? Let's talk about this next story.
Yeah. HYBE is coming back with a new global girl band, and it's called Cat's Eye. And it's going to debut this month. And the composition of the members is very, very diverse. There's 6 members. So there's Sophia from the Philippines, Yoonchae from South Korea, Manon from Switzerland, and 3 U.S. members, Laura, Megan, and Daniela.
Oh.
So it's very diverse and
Yes.
only one South Korean. So basically this is an international girl group. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but it's a highly anticipated girl group, and they're going to debut with their single on June 28th. So
They
that's
didn't ask me if they could use my name in their crew.
oh
They spell it K-T. I was like, what?
oh
I'm just kidding. It's a Monday morning. Yes. And then like my producer's looking at the script like, oh yeah, it is K. Like, I only picked it up because that's how I spell my name. But anyhow.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right. All right. On to our next story, though. This movie is like really popular right now. This top movie, right?
Yes. I think this is going to be our last issue, but not least because this is probably my most favorite issue. Inside Out 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. What's the reason?
We all know. Yeah. 다시죠? Disney Pixar's newest animation film, Inside Out 2, reached 2 million audience on June 16th, and that's only 5 days after its release.
Sure.
So 개봉 닷새째 만에 200만 명 돌파. So 흥행질주. So
Yes.
it is the second foreign film this year to exceed 2 million audience after Wonka. You remember Wonka? But it's gaining, more audience at a much faster rate than Wonka.
Sure.
And this movie even beat the prequel of the same series, Inside Out 1, which got released in 2015. That movie reached 2 million audience on day 11th of its release. So it's fast and furious. And basically, Inside Out fans and Disney and Pixar fans are very excited to see this movie.
Right.
I am going to watch it by the end of this week. So
One of our listeners, Taejin Club's Neem said that, he watched it and he had a really good time.
yeah, I mean it's going to be good. There are more emotions appearing in the movie, and it's going to be great.
Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today. So thanks for coming in, and we'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Yes. And people are commenting that I look so pale compared to you. 저 23호였어요. It's the lighting. I'm not that pale. Yeah. Here's our final song. This is 여행 by 볼빨간 사춘기.
자 오늘
자유롭게 fly far 나 숨을 쉬어 Take me to nowhere anywhere 어디든 답답한 이곳을 벗어나기만 하면 Shining light light 빛나는 my youth 자유롭게 fly far 나 숨을 쉬어 자 이제 쉬어요 떠날 거예요 노트북 꺼놔요 제발 널 잡지 말아줘 시끄럽게 소리를 질러줘 하차할 수 없어 나 가볍게 손을 흔들며 See it 쉬지 않고 빛났던 꿈 같은 my youth 이리저리 치고 도망가질 때쯤 지쳤어 너 미쳤어 너 떠날 거야 다 비켜 I fly away Take me to London, Paris, New York City를 아름다운 이 도시에 빠져서 나 like I'm
다운이 삶은 갈치 플러스 닦고 닦고 또 닦은 수건은 가운데에서 냄새가
그래서 모서리로 닦아요.
새로운 다운이는 삶은 것 같은 탈취 효과로 30번 닦아도 계속
상쾌해. 다운 기파파.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참! 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
부산 글로벌 도시재단 대표이사 전용호입니다. 부산은 물류, 금융, 영상, 관광, 첨단 산업 등 핵심 분야에서 또 한 번의 도약을 준비하고 있습니다. 글로벌 허브 도시 부산의 비전은 부산을 넘어 대한민국의 균형 발전을 촉진할 새로운 계기가 될 것입니다. 부산 글로벌 도시재단은 세계 시민을 연결하는 네트워크로 도시 외교의 중추적 역할을 담당하고 글로벌 부산의 미디어 플랫폼인 부산영어방송을 통해 영어하기 편한 도시 부산을 만들고 있습니다. 글로벌 허브 도시 부산, 그 중심에 부산 글로벌 도시재단이 있습니다.
Busan Global City Foundation leads the Global Hub City Busan.
이주 배경 인구 250만 시대. 그 속에 우리 친구들도 있습니다. 승원이와 농구 대결을 좋아하는 모이부도, 하늘이와 떡볶이를 먹으며 수다를 즐기는 카리나도. 우리에게 중요한 건 우리 모두 친구라는 사실. 우리는 모두 우리입니다. 공익광고 협의회.
time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning.
Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded.
What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It is now 8 o'clock and it's time for News Highlight. KMA offers walkout reconsideration if government accepts 3 demands. The Korean Medical Association, or KMA, offered 3 demands for the government, including revisiting medical school admissions, revising policy for essential medicine, and canceling all administrative penalties against trainee doctors in exchange for a vote of the planned walkout tomorrow. The Health Ministry, however, said that there are no changes to its previous position. In the meantime, 529 medical professors in Seoul Medical University affiliated hospitals will take part in an indefinite collective suspension of patient treatment starting today, except for emergency and critical patient services. Yoon focuses on critical minerals during Central Asia trip. President Yoon Suk-yeol wrapped up a week-long trip to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan on Saturday as South Korea seeks deeper engagement with a strategically significant region rich in vital resources essential for cutting-edge chip and battery industries. Yoon introduced the K-Silk Road Initiative centered on creating a new cooperation model and struck critical mineral supply chain partnerships with the 3 nations. Contracts signed during this trip included a deal involving Korean railway manufacturer Hyundai Rotem to supply 6 high-speed trains to Uzbekistan Railways Corporation, the first export of high-speed trains developed using Korean technology. Funding secured for first drilling of potential oil and gas deposits. The government has secured around 12 billion won to launch the first exploratory drilling for potential gas deposits in the EC, set to begin in December. The Energy Ministry and the Korea National Oil Corporation plan to inject around 100 billion won to conduct the drilling at one of 7 promising structures from December through April 2025. Given the estimated success rate of 20%, the government plans to drill in at least 5 boreholes across 5 years, which will require an additional 500 billion won, which would require cooperation from the opposition Democratic Party. Data leaked for over 2,000 South Korean customers' data in Tag Heuer hack. Private data of some 2,900 South Korean customers was leaked after Tag Heuer was hacked between 2019 and 2020, according to an official at South Korea's Personal Information Protection Commission yesterday. Tag Heuer, owned by LVMH, belatedly reported the case to the commission after becoming aware of the attack when the hacker blackmailed the company in May last year. The commission ordered Tag Heuer to pay 126 million won as a financial penalty over the case and 7.8 million won as a fine for belatedly reporting the case. Ukraine Peace Summit without key powers signing joint statement. A 2-day peace summit in Switzerland on the war in Ukraine concluded, with key powers rejecting a joint communique agreed to by more than 80 other countries and international organizations. The document reaffirmed the signatories' commitment to refraining from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, the principles of sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of all states. India, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates all of whom have important trading relationships with Russia, did not sign the joint statement. Fourteen Jordanians dead at annual Mecca pilgrimage. Jordan's foreign ministry said that 14 of its citizens visiting Mecca, Saudi Arabia, for the annual Hajj pilgrimage have died from heat stroke, with 17 missing at the event. This follows a heat advisory warning issued by the Saudi Health Ministry on Thursday local time, with Monday's temperatures forecast to reach 47 degrees Celsius. This year, the Saudi General Authority for Statistics estimated that over 1.8 million pilgrims were expected to take part in the pilgrimage. Saudi Arabia is expected to experience extreme heat over the 5-day pilgrimage, with temperatures reaching 48 degrees. And this was News Highlights. It's time for Issue Wa글와글. That means Haley's back.
All right, my Zoom's normal. Okay, we're good to go. So Michael, I was like, is she going to fix that before I get in there?
Were you a little worried? Of course.
I was
for
a
us,
lot worried.
Yes. Our first story, though, this is no laughing matter because there have been multiple bomb threats made across the country, including right here in Busan.
Right. So according to Incheon Police, they received a report from an employee at a lost and found center at the Incheon International Airport who reported that the center received a bomb threat via an email. And the email is actually written in English. It was sent to about 100 recipients, all public institutions, saying that the writer installed bombs inside these locations. So the police and the special forces, they combed through the airport. It took them about 5 hours, but found nothing, thankfully. Also, this happened in Busan, as you said, at the Busan National University and Busan National University Hospital, who were included as one of the 100 recipients.
Right.
Local police searched through all 121 buildings on campus and found nothing suspicious.
Yes.
So in the meantime, the police are tracing the IP to track down the sender. Apparently, the email was sent via Google, so it has asked for cooperation from the company.
I see. And there was also a bomb scare on the subway, right?
Right. So this time it was at Gunam Station on subway line 2 in Busan. An employee reported that they found a suspected bomb behind the chair that was on the station's platform.
Right.
It had a clock, wires, and liquid.
Wow.
So, which has all the markings of a bomb.
Yes.
Busan Metro took steps to have the trains pass the station without stopping. And the police bomb squad, they checked it. It was confirmed to be the liquid was saline solution. And it was actually kind of a school project. Well, we don't know whose school project it was, but it's something that they make in schools. It's a saline solution powered clock. But, I mean, it is very suspicious. Why would you put that not even on a chair, but behind, like underneath a chair? So...
And I think that the employee did the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it looks suspicious.
Especially because this came the day after PNU and PNU Hospital received these bomb threats.
Right, indeed. Okay, well, the good news is...
No one was hurt. There were no bombs. Right.
Yes. All right. Next, much of the friction in this medical reform issue has been between the doctors' community and the government. However, there seem to be like fracture lines appearing even within the doctors' community, right?
And this might be one of the reasons that the walkout and this situation, the stalemate has been going on for such a long time.
Yes.
It's because we're also not really hearing a unified voice within the doctors' community either. So right now we are seeing a bit of a friction between the head of the Korean Medical Association, the KMA, which is the country's biggest doctors groups, mostly comprised of private practitioners. Also, the Korea Interns Residents Association, or KIRA, which is behind the trainee doctors walkout. Well, the heads are going head to head. So the KMA proposed to the government to continue talks last week until their June 18th planned strikes, but with the talks being centered around the KMA.
I see.
So its spokesperson last week said that the entire medical field's position is to have the KMA as their window of communication in a unified dignified manner.
Okay.
But apparently this wasn't the position of all of the doctors because Kira, the Interns and Resident Association's president, Park Dan, saying that, well, that's not their position, and actually kind of attacked the KMA president, Im Hyun-taek, asking why does Im keep saying that he is at the center and that the doctors, licensed doctors, are putting the trainee doctors and the medical students at the forefront of their fight.
Oh.
And then Im Hyun-taek hit back saying that if Kira wants the KMA to basically get out of the matter, get their hands off the matter, then so be it. Also, Im reportedly wrote to his supporters in this group chat that he will seriously discuss not involving the KMA in the ongoing trainee doctors issue, basically saying that KMA is kind of reaching beyond their capacity to defend the trainee doctors and saying that he is personally hurting himself and sacrificing his health for this purpose. He also claims, and there's a bit of a money issue going on as well.
Okay.
Im claims that Kira sent the KMA an official letter requesting 400 million won, which is actually the amount that the KMA did pledge to give to the Interns Association for a support fund back in April, which the pledge has not been fulfilled yet.
I see. So I guess you can see some of the fracture lines happening within the doctors' community. All right. One of the biggest fashion houses in the world is under accusations of labor exploitation and the actual cost of, I guess, their luxury bags.
Right. So we're talking about Dior, which is facing, number one, the allegations of labor exploitation. So authorities in Milan, which is a huge fashion city, home to a lot of brands, they've been conducting multiple investigations, but this time into 4 of Dior's supplies in and around Milan. So we should know that these are kind of subsidiaries and partners, not Dior, the headquarters itself. However, the Milan authorities say that they have uncovered illegal working conditions for the staff.
Okay.
And I'm citing Reuters. And prosecutors in Milan claim that Dior suppliers allegedly hired illegal immigrants who came into Italy, and that the laborers were employed for extended hours, working often into the night and during the holidays. Also, others, they were sleeping at their workplaces, lacking regular contracts. And this follows actually another court case. As I said, Milan has been looking into a lot of these fashion houses.
Yes.
Where it revealed that Armani allegedly used subcontractors that violated national labor laws, hiring undocumented immigrants in quote-unquote disadvantageous working conditions, paying them only about 2 to 3 euros per hour.
Oh.
Right, which is vastly below minimum wage.
Right. And so this investigation also revealed the amount at which these bags are, I guess, then sold to Dior, which is vastly different from, I guess, the sticker price to consumers, right?
Interestingly, this was the kind of the headline in a lot of Korean outlets as well. Of course, they did deal with the labor exploitations issue.
Sure.
I thought the focus was different, and that was quite interesting.
On consumers, right?
On consumers. And by the way, Korea does have some of the highest luxury bag or luxury brand consumptions in the world, which is, I mean, cater to your audience. So the same report says that these mostly Chinese-owned, but based in Italy subcontractors, they manufacture and supply goods, including bags, to Dior for as little as 53 euros.
So what's that in Korean money?
8만 won, 80,000 won. And we are talking about, yes, bags. So, I mean, and they do come with tags that say made in Italy. And they are made physically in Italy on Italian soil. But once again, many of them are Chinese-owned and apparently, allegedly, powered by undocumented migrants. So 8만 won, that particular bag, according to the same report, sells for 2,600 euros or 380만 won, 3.8 million won in retail. So, I mean,
it
has been It has been well known. Like, I mean, any clothing, luxury apparel, their base cost is vastly different. I mean, with anything than the sticker price. However, I mean, I don't think people buy Dior or any of those brands for cost reasonableness.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but that is shocking.
That's a
eye-opening.
big markup.
Which is why this was one of the hottest stories over the weekend. People
saying... But the
saying...
thing is this. The demand. The demand is so hot.
Right.
I mean, can we really blame the luxury brands when the demand is so hot to the point where there are like waiting lines for certain luxury houses? I think
I can a little bit, especially if they're using illegal labor. But yeah, so
yes,
many factors go into this story.
Indeed.
Right.
All right, moving on. Thailand is cracking down against Bangkok, we'll say, I hate using this word.
Yeah.
But for lack of a better vocab word, beggars, as the authorities deem that they make too much money. People who basically ask for money on the streets. Yes.
I guess alms seekers as well. That can be another term. But for the sake of the story and a lot of stories, major outlets I did cite, I will say they did use the word
right.
beggars.
Yes.
But I mean, it is demeaning. Let's put that out there too. The authorities are urging tourists and locals to not give cash to these people in not only Bangkok but also other tourist hotspots. So this is, of course, according to officials, these alms seekers or beggars can make up to 100,000 baht per month, which is equivalent to 3.7 million won.
Okay.
That's 370만 won per month. So they're making quite a high salary.
That is
high.
Much higher than I thought.
Right. So under Thai laws, begging is actually illegal, and that can be punishable by up to 1 month of imprisonment and or a fine of up to 100,000 baht. But authorities also suspect that in some areas, organized crime is involved in this as well, deploying beggars in prime locations. And apparently they have territorial disputes as well in upscale shopping centers in the capital city.
Sure.
So according to Thai's Social Development Ministry, this increase in tourism, which is the country's top industry, has also compounded the problem because with more people coming and giving money, people are resorting to street begging, especially involving their children and pets.
Right.
And, by the way, temperature in Bangkok and in Thailand has been increasingly hot. So that is also dangerous for young children and animals.
Yes.
Not only that, the number of foreigners who are taking to streets for begging has been on the rise as well, accounting for 30% of people who have been picked up by the police for begging. And foreigners, according to the Thai officials who are swept up in the raids, would be deported to their respective home countries.
Yes.
While local heads of state-run shelters, for locals, they are receiving vocational training to help them find work.
I see. Well, that was a lot to unfold, lots of different stories, but we're going to call it a wrap for issue Waga for today. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right, it is time for our weather and traffic. It is now 8:17. This is your updated traffic report. There is congestion on Byeongno from Kumsa ramp to the Wondong ramp. It's also looking slow from the Manduk intersection to the Namhae Expressway at the Deokcheon interchange. Backed up also on Chungnyeol-daero from Minam to Daesung intersection. It's currently 22 degrees under partially cloudy skies. You can expect the sun to emerge by lunchtime, they say, with high time highs climbing up to 30 degrees Celsius here in Busan. Fine dust and ultrafine dust plus ozone levels are looking good right now. However, the ozone level may go up as the sun comes out later in the afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. This was your traffic and weather. So this is our next song. 흔들리는 꽃들 속에서 내 샴푸 향이 느껴진 거야 by 장범준.
꽃들 속에서 내 샴푸 향이 느껴진 거야. 스쳐 지나간 건가 뒤돌아보지마. 그냥 사람들만 보이는 거야. 다와가는 집 근처에서 괜히 핸드폰만 만지는 거야. 한번 연락해볼까 용기 내보지만 그냥 내 마음만 아쉬운 거야. 걷다가 보면 항상 이렇게 너를 바라만 보던 너를 기다린다고 말할까. 지금 집 앞에 계속 이렇게 너를 아쉬워하다 너를 연락했다 할까. 지나치는 꽃들 속에서 내 샴푸 향만 보이는 거야. 스쳐 스쳐 지나간 건가 뒤돌아보지만 그냥 내 마음만 바빠진 거야 걷다가 보면 항상 이렇게 너를 바라만 보던 너를 기다린다고 말할까 지금 집 앞에 계속 이렇게 너를 아쉬워하다 너를 연락했다 할까 어떤 계절이 너를 우연이라도 너를 마주치게 할까 난 이대로 아쉬워하다 너를 바라만 보던 너를 기다리면서 아무 말 못하고 그리워만 할까 걷다가 보면 항상 이렇게 너를 바라만 보던 너를 생각한다고 말할까 지금 집 앞에 기다리고 때로 지나치고 다시 기다리는 꽃이 피는 거리에 보고파라 이 밤에 걷다가 보면 항상 이렇게 너를 아쉬워하다 너를 기다린다고 말할까 지금 집 앞에 계속 이렇게 너를 아쉬워하다 너를 연락했다 할까
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you were enjoying that song on this Monday morning. So last time for a text topic, we've been talking about the fact that vacation season is right around the corner here in Korea. That means all the spots for swimming are going to be full of people real soon, right? So where is your favorite swimming spot? And are you a good swimmer? Were the questions posed to you today? And, you know, most of the responses that I've seen thus far about the whole butterfly, right? The butterfly stroke or the 접영, that it's a difficult stroke. I think that's the last one that I won't even use the word mastered. It's the last one I learned, right? When I was taking swimming classes at the Y thing that many people probably took their swimming classes from. But yeah, in California, like that was the final stroke that I learned, and it was a tough one. And I don't usually use it when I'm out there. And Chinjung waiver, 제가 사는 동네 수영장은 50mm 길이라서 수영하는 맛이 나요. 수영장에서 수영하는 걸 좋아해요. 강이나 바다보다는. Oh, so Yunjung waiver says that her local swimming pool in her neighborhood, the length of the pool is like the regulation 50 meters long. So she says she really enjoys swimming there over, I guess, like in a river or in the ocean. That's her preference, in a swimming pool. Yes, so definitely it's that season where you're going to see more people out there trying to swim. And I have another message on our Kakao Talk board who is 조현철 waiver who says 바다 수영을 좋아해요. 바다에서는 주로 평영을 합니다. 그게 제일 편해요. So he says he really enjoys swimming in the ocean, and that he usually sticks to breaststroke, and for him that's his favorite stroke. He's the most comfortable with that. All right, thank you for your responses, and I'll be back with our special interview. June 21st, right around the corner, is Haji, or summer solstice here in South Korea. And we're definitely talking about, our entire theme today for our text topic is about this hot summer that is basically almost here. It's basically here because we're in the thick of it. I don't know about you, but many people have definitely turned on their air conditioners. Today, though, we're going to be taking a look at what to expect for the next couple of months. Temperatures already hitting dangerous levels in countries like India and iconic travel destinations like Greece. They're actually closing schools and attractions during the hottest hours of the day. So, we've heard of the terms La Niña, El Niño. And yes, we've talked about it a couple times, but do we really know what they mean? And how are they going to affect us? Let's find out details with Dr. Paul Roundy, professor in the Department of Atmospheric and Environmental Sciences at the University of Albany. Hi, Professor. Welcome to our program.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes. So first of all, if we can get the basics out of the way, because we hear terms like El Niño and La Niña. What exactly are they?
So we have to think about the equatorial Pacific Ocean in order to understand the terms. And first, you might be surprised that most of the Pacific Ocean along the equator is actually very cold down deep. But there's a layer of warm water that floats at the surface. And normally, the trade winds blow from east to west, and they bring up cold water in the east and pile up warm water in the west. And during El Niño, that warm water spreads out, and so it's warm basically everywhere. And during La Niña, it is colder than normal in the eastern Pacific along the equator. And these things are important because they change how much it rains over the East Pacific and near Indonesia, the maritime continent area, where it's normally cold over the East Pacific. It doesn't rain very much, but during El Niño, it rains a lot in that area.
I see. And so when we talk about El Niño and La Niña, the phenomena related to these, weather patterns, and how frequent do they occur? Is it like a yearly thing, or is it something quite different from that?
Sometimes you expect to see an El Niño event every 3 to 7 years, a really strong event, a few times a century. But like the last 3 years before last year were repeated La Niña events. So every year we had a La Niña. And then we had a big El Niño, 2023, 2024, big El Niño. And now we're starting to transition again in the other direction.
Well, so La Niña is, I guess, what we're kind of getting into now. But how does that affect the weather, especially during summer?
So this year, we're not quite in full La Niña conditions yet.
Okay.
And some of the El Niño conditions are still left behind. Like the central Pacific near the equator is still warmer than normal, but the cold water is just starting to come up in the East Pacific. El Niño puts out a lot of heat into the atmosphere. And since we're kind of in transition right now between El Niño and La Niña, we still have some of that extra heat available to the atmosphere. And so even above the general trend of climate change, we're still quite a bit warmer than what we would expect to be just about worldwide right now because of the El Niño that we're just finishing right now.
Yes.
La Niña tends to cool the world a little bit more. So although climate change is still going to keep us on average warmer, we're going to cool down below where we've been for the last year. But that change takes a while after the transition. And so it's probably more like this fall and winter before the global temperature starts to come down with the La Niña. Another effect of El Niño and La Niña is where tropical cyclones tend to form and how they move. So during El Niño, the Pacific Ocean has a lot of tropical cyclones in the central Pacific, and they tend to recurve to the east. During La Niña, they're more likely to make landfall in Asia and to move into the region of Korea and Japan. But this year, we've had a really low number of tropical cyclones worldwide. It was past the middle of May, and we still hadn't had a single named storm this year.
Yes.
And that's kind of astonishing, actually. It's quite unusual. But it's typical that as a La Niña event grows, and we'll probably be seeing that more into this fall, the more tropical cyclones would occur coming toward the Northwest Pacific instead of farther east out to sea where El Niño tends to shift them.
And I do want to clarify, Professor, when you say tropical cyclones, is this the same thing? Like in our neck of the woods, we call them typhoons, and I believe in the States they're called hurricanes. Is that the same thing?
Yes, different parts of the world will call the same storm different things. If it were the Indian Ocean, we would call it a cyclone.
I see. Thanks for clarifying. So right now in South Korea, we're already experiencing temperatures nearing 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's 35 degrees Celsius in some parts of Korea. And I think it's looking to be the same or worse in other parts of the world heat-wise. So as we approach the first official day of summer real soon, what should we expect weather-wise?
So the general trend worldwide is for most places where most people live to experience a couple of degrees, a degree to 2 degrees warmer temperatures than what we would have seen decades ago. That's the climate change signal. But then we have fluctuations on top of that associated with El Niño and La Niña and other natural weather patterns. And this year we're right now in transition between the two, so you don't expect a big signal in Korea or most of the world yet. Than the heat that was left behind from the recent El Niño event. Typically in Korea, there's a 2 to 3 week cycle of warm and cool, wet versus dry conditions fluctuating across the summer. And we call that the intraseasonal oscillation. So some people will call it the Madden-Julian oscillation or the Northern Hemisphere summer intraseasonal oscillation. And this produces a fluctuation of rainfall and temperature in the region. And that's probably going to dominate most of the summer. So you would have a couple of weeks on of warmer conditions and then drier conditions, and then a couple of weeks of more wet conditions. These wet periods typically move from south to north across the Northwest Pacific, and that dominates the weather signal over Eastern Asia. The El Niño and La Niña impacts can be substantial, but this summer, the main thing from those effects are some heat left behind from the El Niño event that we're just leaving.
Yes. And so South Korean experts say that summers here, like traditionally, we usually thought like June to August. That was like our peak summer season. But more and more so, it does seem, even to a non-scientist like myself, that summers seem to be beginning earlier, and then they seem to last longer to the point where people always complain as of late, like the past few years especially, that it seems like we're having very short springs and falls compared to, years past. So is this something that that might be felt in other parts of the world, or is this just kind of only for Korea? What do you think?
The general trend is for more of the world to be experiencing warmer conditions more of the time. The change that climate change is giving us is, like I said, between 1 or 2 degrees Celsius in most parts of the world. It's a lot larger actually during the winter and in the Arctic than anywhere else in the world. So that kind of gives an edge. And if your shoulder seasons were kind of borderline warm anyway, and you add a couple of degrees to that, it lengthens the seasons a little bit.
I see.
Then there's also natural variability that causes one year to be warmer than another year, or cooler. And that fluctuation can be as large as the trend. So once in a while, we can still get a cold event. Last year, in the end of May, here in my home community, we had frost May 23rd.
May 23rd.
And it killed most of my fruit. That's quite unusual. It's a month after our normal hard freezes end.
Yes.
So we can still have cold, but this summer, you're not likely to see a whole lot of that.
Ah, I see. Well, as we do look forward to summer, and of course we have a rainy season coming up soon as well, what can we as average citizens do to prepare for, and you say even like 1 to 2 degrees or maybe 3 degrees, but for people who are maybe working outdoors, laborers, I mean, even that 1 to 2 degree difference could actually feel like a lot more.
The first thing is awareness. Listen to the weather forecasts, because they'll typically within a few days of an event where it gets especially hot, you'll be aware of it. Drink lots of water. People can keep cool by having access to water, moisten your body. Use a fan. Some parts of the world are so humid that you can't cool yourself very well by evaporation of your sweat or water from off your body. But go swimming. Find a place of cool water.
Yes, indeed. Do you think that what we've been discussing thus far, even with the 1 to 2 degree difference, that this is kind of going to be the norm going forward, that we're going to continue to see us inching upwards in terms of warmer climate, warmer weather, warmer temperatures overall?
The general expectation is that, we've warmed about a degree or 2, depending on your location, over the last several decades. Over the next several decades, we'll warm another degree or 2. And so the general trend is that you'll have more events where it's hot. You'll also occasionally still have events where it's cooler than average. The weather still fluctuates. Nature is still there. The day-to-day weather variability in many parts of the world is larger than a degree or 2. So you can still get quite cold. Even with climate change, but it'll just happen less often.
Well, I want to thank you for all your time and expertise on sharing your thoughts on this issue. Thanks for joining us today, Professor. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This was once again Professor Paul Roundy, and we talked about what he says is a transitioning from El Niño into La Niña, so not quite at the La Niña phase yet. So what that might mean is, yes, a degree to 2 degrees hotter than we've experienced in years past. Nothing too extreme, according to the professor. However, as always, we want to be extra prepared before the real heat waves hit the peninsula. What does that mean? It means taking care of your health, making sure you're, as he said, keeping hydrated. Also, especially if you have, facilities or things that you need to take care of before the real summer heat comes on, we all need to be aware of this and prep ahead of time. All right, this was our special interview. Let's take a song break. How about this one by Sonic? Leave the Door Open.
Say baby, what you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans. Don't say that. Shut your trap. I'm sipping wine. Sip. In a robe. I look too good to be alone. My house clean. My pool warm. Just shake. Smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. I won't bite unless you like. If you smoke, what you smoke? I got the haze. And if you're hungry, girl, I got the lace. Ooh, baby, don't keep me
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
All right, folks, it's time for Business Perspectives. Guess who we found wandering the halls of our station?
Wandering
Bobby's
the
back.
halls.
Oh,
It's good to be back.
I know. How was your vacay? Are you good?
Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
Well, went back to the States.
Yes.
Our second child, he graduated 8th grade.
Oh my gosh.
So got to attend his
Middle school?
graduation. Yeah, middle school, and now he's off to high school.
How do you feel about that?
I feel really positive. You know what I feel positive about
Yes.
is that him and I still have a pretty decent relationship. Because all my other friends, like by the age of 13, they don't want to talk to you.
Like, yeah.
Turn it
Silent
off.
treatment begins,
Yes.
right?
I'm getting some of that, but right now it was okay
It's
before I
okay.
came back. Yeah, so that was good. But I'm excited for him to start high school this fall, and we'll see how he starts, getting into that kind of more maturity phase.
Yes, yes.
Getting serious now.
Hey, real quick, topic today, we're talking about swimming. Are you an avid swimmer? Are you good at it?
I'm functional at it.
What is functional? Like, you won't drown.
Yeah, I won't drown, you know.
Okay.
I'm a little better than doggy paddling.
Oh, okay. So you're above the doggy paddling, not like butterfly.
No, I mean, I could do the butterfly, but maybe for 2 strokes.
That's what everybody says. After 2 strokes, it's like,
That's enough.
I'm done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Backstroke. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's not just like floating, AKA floating around.
That's right. That's what it is.
All right. Let's dive into our topic for today. What do you have for us?
Okay. So with the awesome weather that we've been getting,
Yes.
and on the heels of the summer season, want to get ready for the beaches, and also it means getting your sunglasses out.
Ooh,
So
that's true.
Today we're
Shade
going to
season.
spotlight a company in the eyewear industry, and the company is called Luxottica.
Oh, really? Luxottica.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you heard of it?
Not Luxottica.
Okay. But you may not know the name of the company, but you'll definitely know the brands that they own.
Okay, like?
Ray-Ban.
Oh, yeah, Ray-Ban.
Or Oakley.
Oh, yeah.
Just to name a couple, right? So it's always so cool, because we always know about the brands,
Right.
but we don't necessarily always know about the company behind these iconic brands.
And that's why I love this segment, because we get to learn the ins and outs and like, how do they get started? How do they get to the point where everybody knows Ray-Bans and Oakleys, right?
I know. So
yes.
that's what we're going to dive into.
Okay.
And, I get a lot of inspiration just by, reading about these
Sure,
places.
sure.
So we'll start off with the background of Luxottica.
Okay.
So they were founded over 60 years ago, back in 1961.
Sure.
Established in Agordo, Italy, by an entrepreneur named Leonardo Del Vecchio.
Ooh.
And he was born in 1935. So if you do the math, he started the company right when he was a ripe age of 26. Now, a little background on Mr. Del Vecchio. He came from very humble beginnings. He grew up in a very low-income family in Milan.
Yes.
And he did face quite a few challenges. One of them being that his father died at a very young age. And it was at the age of 7 that he was sent to an orphanage by his mother because he had other siblings that she had to take care of.
Right, right.
So he was on his own. Now, at the age of 14,
Yes.
he began to work at a tool and die factory in Milan as an apprentice. And it was during this time he started really honing in on his metalworking skills. That's going to help him out.
Oh, and like, humble beginnings, challenging beginnings.
Very challenging, yes.
However, when you think about it, like, on the other end, this is what probably shaped him into what he became, right?
And yes, absolutely. But it was cool because at this factory, the owner of the factory really took notice of him. And he encouraged him to start taking night classes at the prestigious Brera Fine Arts Academy and focusing on design and engraving.
Ooh.
So he has metalworking. Now he was starting to study on design as well as engraving.
Wow. Okay.
So in 1958, that's where for Mr. Del Vecchio, the entrepreneurial itch came calling.
Sure.
And he struck out on his own. He opened up his own eyeglass workshop in Venice, in the city Agorda.
Okay.
And, at that time, it was a very instrumental place because it was the home of Italy's eyeglass industry. And also, it was really well known for its skilled labor and craftsmanship.
Sure.
And then in 1961, a few years later, he founded the company Luxottica. And they specialized in making components for eyeglass manufacturers.
Oh, components.
Just
That's
components.
Where
That's where he
not
started.
Like the whole, final finished product.
Not yet.
Okay, but the thing is, the fact that he started working, nowadays we would be like, oh my gosh, 14 working in a factory, that's illegal and so wrong. But back in those times, it wasn't uncommon,
It wasn't uncommon.
Right.
And another thing is, you think about the options that he had, pretty limited, right?
Sure.
But the fact that owner kind of took him under his wings,
right?
I mean, that was an awesome opportunity for him.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's jump forward to the growth of the company.
Sure.
So they started in 1961 manufacturing components, right, for eyeglass manufacturers. But in about a decade, they started transitioning to produce their own eyewear designs by 1971.
Okay.
And this is really where the business began to take off as they shifted to focus on making their own eyeglass frames. Then in the 80s, they experienced another big boom. So another 10 years. Let's take it by decades, right?
Okay.
Because they went after the U.S. market and they continued to grow and increase its size through the 1990s. Now, in 1990, they were listed on the New York Stock Exchange, so they went public.
Okay.
So that increased their international awareness. Also, they assisted them in their financial acquisitions, right, and just further their growth.
Yes.
Now, during this time, something very instrumental came into play for the company because they went into licensing. And they signed their first licensing agreement in 1988 with Giorgio Armani.
Oh, the Armani. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So it was interesting because they anticipated that eyeglasses would evolve from a necessary medical device into a desirable fashion accessory.
Right, because when we think of summer and trendy fashion, everybody has shades on,
That's right. Protect your eyes, but now you got to look good.
Of course. Yes, it's a thing.
Yeah, there you go. Now, the idea continually confirmed this idea of licensing was confirmed, and they acquired Ray-Ban in 1990 for $640 million.
$640 million?
Dollars, yes. Transformed it into a brand synonymous with sunglasses that we know today.
That's true, though. I mean, that's the first brand that everybody, at least in the States.
Yes.
Right, everybody wants the risky business. Was it Tom Cruise?
That's right.
And then the aviator, shades. Yeah, everybody wanted those.
In Top Gun.
Top Gun. So everybody had them.
So that really brought things. They brought it to the map, man. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody knew that one. Going forward now, in 1995, they got into the retail business. So they were always manufacturing, designing.
Sure.
Now they got into retail because they purchased a company that had lens crafters.
I remember that company.
There you go. And so they were the first manufacturer ever to directly enter the optical retail space.
Wow, they just started expanding.
Yes, up and down the chain.
Sure.
So they also expanded globally during this time in the 90s beyond the U.S. into the Middle East and Asia Pac. Okay, and beyond just geographical expansion,
right?
They really went after technology and diversifying from sunglasses and eyeglasses, to go into smart glasses.
Smart glasses.
Yes. So they've even partnered with the likes of Google, as well as Meta. So with Meta, the Ray-Ban brand offers the next gen smart glasses with built-in features for audio video recording, live streaming,
so high tech,
calls and messaging, and some AI assistance in the frames.
Yes.
Then in 2018, Mr. Del Vecchio, at the age of 81, still running the company.
I was going to say, he was still running the company. He was still around, okay?
Yes. He wanted to grow his empire and emerge with the company, Essilor company. And they are the world's leader in lens manufacturing.
So this it's like a whole different level. Yes.
So this merger created the world's largest company in the eyewear sector.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was already big,
Huge.
but
Yes.
then even bigger.
They added one more addition
Right,
with the
right.
lenses themselves, right? Now, the thing that's interesting about, so that was their growth and how they got big.
Yes.
But, it's really interesting in terms of their overall strategic approach because it was all about vertical integration.
Right.
So, again, they started with just manufacturing small components.
Right, parts.
Right. But then they eventually became this global powerhouse, right? Taking over the whole value chain from designing of glassware, manufacturing of them, distributing them, and actually retailing them.
Right, right.
So again, their brands, they have Ray-Ban, they have Oakley, they have Purcell, Oliver Peoples. They have a lot of brands that they owned.
Yes.
But also, they also manufacture sunglasses and prescription frames for other designer brands such as Armani, Chanel, Prada, Versace.
Ah, so not just their own brands, but also still working with the other major fashion houses.
Correct. And so, and also in terms of retail, they own, like we talked about, LensCrafters, but also the Sunglass Hut.
They're just everywhere. I mean, all the brands are. I'm just like, I didn't realize there was like another bigger company behind these names.
That's what when I first heard them about 10 years ago, I was like, whoa, get out of here. I can't believe that they own all this.
Wow. Okay.
So, a little bit more about Mr. Del Vecchio.
Sure.
Right? He just passed away a couple years ago, but he's highly regarded not only for his understanding of the industry and the business, but also he has a unique way of dealing with folks and his employees. And, people call him a visionary, but he had the smarts to develop everything from the factories, distribution networks, as well as the retail sectors, right? He has a real love. People know him for his love of product and deep knowledge of all the details. And so you think about that, what you talked about before, at the age of 14, right? But how many years did he just keep on honing those skills and getting another aspect, under his tool belt, right?
Right.
But in terms of the human factor, a lot of, he has a real unique approach, and people think that it really is credit to his upbringing and probably some of the challenges that he went to.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And he really forged strong bonds with his employees. And actually, on his 80th birthday, he gave the firm's 8,000 employees shares worth a total of around 9 million euros to his employees.
Really?
Yeah.
Giving back.
Giving back to his employees.
Makes for happy employees. Yes.
So think about that. In 60 years, he really revolutionized the industry, but also really taking something that was a functional product to a must-have fashion accessory.
Let's jump to the future outlook, and then we got to get to word of the week.
Absolutely. So, right now, as a company, their recent revenue is about $14.4 billion. In terms of global presence, they operate in over 150 countries with 11,000 stores.
Wow.
Huge brand.
Yes.
They're home to over 100 major brands. And in terms of innovation and technology, they hold over 11,000 patents and designs. And today their workforce is over 140,000 people.
Ooh, this is like a huge company, much bigger than I ever expected.
I know. So
behind eyewear. So what's our word of the week?
All right. It's called vision.
I love the double meaning behind it.
Yes.
Right.
So, it's obvious that, Mr. Del Vecchio was a visionary. Right? He saw more to the business than just the components.
Sure.
And we hear a lot about business visionaries such as Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos. Those are folks that were able to create markets before they even took shape.
Sure.
Right? So they were able to envision and create value before others could even see anything. So I want us to all think about this word vision and encourage us to take a page from some of these business visionaries and self-reflect and come up with a vision of what you want to be, what you want to accomplish, where you want to go over the next 12 months. I would even challenge all of us to put it on paper.
Okay.
With the phrase saying, in the next 12 months, I will be...
And then fill in the blank.
There you go.
I like it.
I will be accomplishing, fill in the blank.
I got it. Well, now that you have inspired us, we will do so. But thank you so much for bringing this interesting company to our listeners today.
Absolutely.
Everybody, this is Bobby with Business Perspectives. And if you can believe our Monday morning, the time is up. We got to say goodbye. So we're going to end it on this song, Upside Down and Inside Out by OK Go. So have a good Monday, everybody. Bye-bye.